she called me out earlier in the show because I definitely don't stay for the Q&A on the Zoom. I'll admit that. I come on time, but I don't. I feel like I'm doing what the Jewish people call a mitzvah by having less people for her to ask the question to. So, it's nice to be back. I actually had to take a break from live shows because I thought we were going to move. Like, I had the contract signed and everything, and I just had, like, a few things going on with applications, and I sold all my furniture, and, we're getting ready to move out by the end of the month. It's, like, January 28th, and then they just call and they say, I'm sorry, Mr. Ballow, we've looked into all your records, and we found that you have tons of unused Kohl's cash. Negatively affected you in a way that we cannot sell you this co-op. So it was like, it's a shocking thing. Like you come back, it's like we did everything right. We checked all the boxes, and it was like, well, we're sorry. The Kohl's cash is serious business. So, but it was nice because the Westchester Human Rights Commission actually reached out to me. The Human Rights Commission reached out to me, a cisgender white male. Like, wow, there must be some real discrimination if I'm involved. But, I felt like now I'm one of the many. So I talk to them and I say, do I have a case? And they say, I'm sorry, but you can totally be discriminated against for your Kohl's cash situation. But if you dig up any Native American ancestry, then we might be talking business. So, it's a terrible real estate market now, but even if it wasn't bad this time of year, it's just terrible to be looking at houses. Like, you're with a real estate agent, it's like, 3 degrees below zero, and you're out in the woods like it's fucking Indiana Jones looking for a hidden rock that has a secret key in it. It's like, even if I could buy this house, I wouldn't be interested in that. But you have to go. That's the shitty part. Like if you just did it from online, if people buy a house or rent a house from just looking at the pictures online, every set looks like they had 10 minutes to take all the pictures, no matter what. Like, we got to get this up. They want the house sold. We just got to get these pictures in. 7 pictures of the parking lot. We got to see where the car goes. Oh, there's a broken down old deck. Let's show you just enough that you don't think it's that broken. Old grill, featured. 3 pictures of the kitchen, all terrible. Can't figure out if that's a dishwasher or a microwave. And then, we got the most disgusting stain I've ever seen featured. This room has this stain. 4 more just unintelligible, like, modern art pictures. Like, oh, okay, I see the mood they're trying to convey, but, is this the downstairs? Like, and then there's just 2 that are just, like, unspeakable horrors, like, unimaginable, like, just pure fear. And then you look closely and you that's the half bath, so that's downstairs too. Okay. So and then you go to see one, you find one you like, and you're like, we're gonna do whatever it takes. We're gonna bid $50,000 over the asking price, and I'm just like, deep inside me, like, my parents taught me to get a good deal, and it's like, that doesn't sound like a good deal. Like, you go to McDonald's and you order a Big Mac, and they give it, and they say, okay, it's $5.50, and you're like, $8. How about that? Will you do it? And the real estate market is such that they say, how about $9? So we put in this offer, $50,000 over, and we didn't get it on this house. And it's like, not only we didn't get it, they had the nerve to say, you weren't even in the top 10. Like, how the fuck is that even occurring? It's like, what country do you have to invade to find cheap real estate? Was Putin trying to buy like a 3-bedroom house in Scarsdale and was just so bitter? He's like, I'm just going to take over the whole Ukraine. I'm going to get condos, 3 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. But like, if you really want a place, you feel like you might have to go like old school. Like, remember we used to get concert tickets, like you'd log on the computer just as it went on sale. Now, I know you thought like in person, like I'm going to say, like, remember when you used to have to go somewhere? No. But when you had to, like, it would go on sale and you had to press refresh on the computer. So I'm doing that with Zillow, like new house. And then one pops up and I'm like, quick, 50,000 over asked, and it's going to be ours. And then it comes back, it's like, great. You are the proud owner of a $675,000 2-bedroom, 800-square-foot condo. And if you'll look closely, that says 1.75 bathrooms, because there's 1 full bathroom with 1 filthy shower that you and your wife will use, and then there's another half bathroom, and then there's a rogue toilet in a closet. And that's how we get to 3/4 of the bathroom. So, there's been some discussion lately. My name is Steven, or Steve, depending on my mood. So if you're ever curious to like, oh, is he one of those people? Like, if you confirm with me, I'll confirm the other. Like, oh, do you like to be called Steven? No, Steve's fine. And they say, oh, Steve. And I'll say, you know what, my name's actually Steven today. I just woke up and today I'm Steven. But like, you know, all of this changed like years ago. Like about 14 years ago, this dude started to become popular. You know, he's a basketball player. His name is Stephen Curry. Ooh. And ever since then, my name is pronounced frequently incorrect, like Stefan. Like, I'm Stefan, yes. No. And then I'll say, no, my name is Steven or Steve, depending on my mood. So thanks, everyone. I'm Steve.
Oh, thank you.
Steve, you're not feeling Steven today, huh?
I don't know.
All right, you guys. The next comedian is fabulous. He recently got his hair cut, and I love him. Give it up for Mr. Stephen Ballow.
Yeah. I'm trying something new. But first things first, like, let's hear it for Marvelous, because that was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's my set. Okay. So as Gaye said, I did get a haircut. Like some of you know, I cut a lot of hair. I used to have long hair, like below shoulder length, and it's just, you know, I want to speak for men in general that like it's not convenient to have that hair. Like men like a haircut with convenience. So you know, I wanted the ultimate convenience. So I walked into the barber and I said, "Give me the Paul Halsey." And he's there. I was hoping he would come so I could make that joke. But thank God the barber didn't understand that, so I pulled out a picture of Dolph Lundgren. I said, give me that. And he gave it to me. Now, the man's haircut's all about convenience. Like, you know, women spend time, they spend a lot of money. Like, as a man, I want to put a quarter in the meter, and I want to be out with enough time to grab a coffee after this is done. That's my haircut, no matter how long it is. But, you know, it's been great. It's taken on a whole new persona, like the Dolph Lundgren persona. Like, I found this umbrella on the Metro North, so now it's become part of my whole style.
Did you sterilize it?
Of course. I had my hand sandy for that, in case you find an umbrella. That's how, you know, it's the life cycle of the umbrella. Like, you know, they occur naturally on the Metro North when it's raining in the morning. And then you use it, and then you return it at the end of the day for the next person. That's the life cycle of the umbrellas on the Metro North. But, you know, I like this whole thing. Like, I like the look of this. This is a big-ass, nice golf umbrella. Like, somebody's really kicking themselves for leaving this around. But, you know, I feel like a cane. It makes me want to, you know, speak to my cane comedians and cocaine comedians. Like, yeah, Miss Hugh. He's great. But, no, in other great news, like, everything's turning up roses and heads for me because I actually got a place to live now. Yeah. So, like, as I mentioned before, my wife and I were trying to get a co-op, and we were all ready to move out. We had sold all our furniture. We're getting ready to move in a few days, and they called me up and they said, Mr. Ballow, I'm sorry, but we can't sell you this co-op because, you know, we did a background check, and we've seen you've been dabbling a lot in cryptocurrency. And I said, oh, crypto? I said, I don't do any of that doggy coin or Ethereum, whatever it is. They said, no. You have tons of unspent Kohl's cash, and your CPS Extra Care bucks is just all over the place. So I said, I didn't know that stuff was serious. And they said, well, you know, serious enough to deny you this co-op, because that's, you know, the world we're living in. But, you know, so we were thrust back onto the market, and it was kind of shitty, like, to go back out there, like, and start looking for places, and, you know, you go in some place, and I swear to God, one of the dumps we saw, there was blood on the floor. Like, and I knew it was blood and not paint because nothing in this apartment had been painted since the Clinton administration. So, you know, you go through that. One actually, when we were looking, we did find a nice condo. It was in, you know, what do you call that? Like, lower income. Like, you had to qualify to be able to buy this condo. So I figure, as someone denied a $200,000 co-op, I must be 2 steps away from destitution. This house must be for me. So I apply. And they said, oh, how dare you even apply? Like, you know, consult your realtor to show you some mansions in Greenwich, Mr. Moneybags. So, you know, it's just a fucked up situation out there. So, let's see. Well, I like the cane. I'm really leaning on it for material and leaning. And so, my wife is Thai. Like, it comes up, she used to come to the club, and now she's gotten real busy with her cookie business. She can't come as much. So we've been married, we're going to be married 7 years in June. Can you believe that? And people say, 7 years with a Thai woman, like, how is your Thai? Like, do you know how to speak Thai? And I said, my only response to them is, like, does a parrot know how to speak English? Like, I can repeat phrases back to her. I can say, well, the usual favorites. Hello, thank you, fat bitch, ugly, fuck, what you need to say. Bored. The key Thai words. So it's like, it's no learning because, like, Thai is so difficult. There's tones, and it's so weird because, like, you'll hear a word and you say, like, okay, that word means this, but she's like, no, it's boo, 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 and it's 5 different sounds, and this is to her right now because she's going to watch the video. She's going to say, Lam Khan, you said it wrong. So that's for her later, but we can all laugh, but...
You want cookies?
Yes, that was a one-time thing. She gets a lot of money for those now, but anyway... So it's hard to learn Thai because she, corrects me. So I'm learning Spanish through osmosis. I'm reading every sign on the subway, and sooner or later it's gonna, Babblefish, or what's that one that people use? Duolingo itself into me, and I'll learn to speak Spanish. Like sometimes there'll be a sign, I don't know what it says, so I asked one of my Spanish friends, and the sign was "Compranos oro." So I asked my buddy, I said, what does it mean? He says, oh, you're about to get screwed. Thanks everyone, I'm Steven.
Yeah.
Non-cane umbrella. Give it up for Stephen Ballow.
So let's hear everyone coming out when no one else came out. Everyone came early. Yeah. Cheers. I was supposed to come with Siegel and bring more people to the show, but he was going to see Tom Segura at the Hulu Theater at MSG. That's pretty good for that. I like Tom Segura. But no, this is the show. I want to be at a show where I could be in it. Don't you all want to be at a show you can be in? Yeah. Given the choice. Plus, this was $14 and I was probably 50, so easy decision. So, he wasn't around. So, I had time to myself over the show after work, and I was like, oh, I'm going to shoot some B-roll because I want to make YouTube videos. So I'm just going to shoot video of me walking around New York City. And I was like, well, that's the perfect cover for my wife. Asked me, like, what were you doing? Did you go to a strip club? Blah, blah. You're going to see other women? And I say, no, I'm out shooting B-roll. She goes, no way. No way you were out shooting B-roll. You were at a strip club or something. I was like, bitch, I got 45 minutes of footage of me walking around to prove I wasn't anywhere. Interesting. But, I love my wife. She wanted to be here today, but, she's going through a rough patch with her mom. So if you got any spare prayers, I appreciate for our family. We're having, a bit of issues. But I really, I love my wife so much that we actually have been married 3 times. So, we had, I love to be married. It's like the closest like a regular schlub could get to be like an actor in a Broadway play, like a wedding. So we had a courthouse and we had an American wedding, and she was kind enough to invite me to come, to Thailand to get married in front of her friends and family. So like that was real nice. That was real meaningful, but there was a lot of issues. Like a destination wedding doesn't go off without a hitch. And I don't know if probably no one's ever done this, but like we go to a destination wedding and there's ethnic clothing to wear, and because the wedding's like 2 days after you land, the first thing you have to do is immediately go from the airport and get fitted. And there's no better feeling than sitting on a plane for 26 hours and then trying to shove into some Thai-made clothing, let me assure you. It's because my wife can tell, the person that he's big, like make it big for him because, he's big. But, the Thai people say, yeah, we know, we'll make it big. But then this comes, and I got a great angle on that camera to show how much is coming to Thailand. And I'm squeezing, and it's like, and I'm looking at the tag humiliatingly like 4X, and I'm struggling to get in, like, oh my God, that didn't send a message right there. But, so we're in Thailand, 26 hours on the plane, I've shoved into the clothes, but now I'm getting ready, and, I'm enjoying Thailand for a day, getting used to it, acclimatized before you have the wedding. When you're in a different country, like, you look for those tastes of home. Like, because the foods, everything's different. So, when you find something and you, like, lock onto it, like, way too hard, like, there were some onion rings, at the breakfast buffet, and I had way too many onion rings. And it's like, you know, when you have too many onions, like bad things happen, especially like all the other like Thai stuff I was eating, and then there's like tons of onions, like that's smart. So I had tons of onions, and believe it or not, that caused a ton of constipation. And I'm like, I gotta get some medicine before the wedding. I can't have this feeling at the wedding. So I went to a pharmacy. What you don't know about Thailand is when you go to a pharmacy, you get just like, you know, the medicine that you need a prescription for. So I just go in and I was like, give me stool softener. It's like, here's some prescription stool softener. Great to have. So, you know, I figure, okay, I'll take this the night before, brilliant, and I'll just get all the, you know, get it all out, and I'll feel great for the wedding. And the wedding's at 7 in the morning. What was I thinking? So we had to wake up at 3 to get ready, and, you know, the medicine was not working. And then we get there 7 in the morning. As soon as, you know, it starts, then it starts. So now I'm still in that clothing. Like, they can modify it a little, but, you know, it's not, you know, I'm not going for a jog in it. And I don't know if you've probably, nobody's seen a Buddhist wedding, but there's a lot of, like, kneeling down, bending over and offering to the monks. And nothing's better than when you have diarrhea, wearing tight clothes. It's very hot, and you're bending over a lot. And that was the first 2 hours. Like, luckily they gave us a break after that, and you know, I'm up there with Saddam Hussein in terms of like war crimes committed in the toilet that day. But you know, and then it was right back to it. And you know, there's another part where we're just kneeling down. Another great thing for tight clothes is kneeling down. You know, and everyone's coming, and we're greeting them, and they're all taking a picture. And, you know, it made me, like, this was my moment. This was my Broadway play moment. This is the closest I'll get. And my wife didn't fly me like 6,000, 7,000 miles around the world to be, like, in every picture, like, really suffering from medicine. So, you know, in every picture, beautiful smile. It's like, because, you know, this was my moment. Like, have you ever seen a Broadway play where, you know, somebody could be given the performance of their life and you never believe it, but they had diarrhea? That's happened. I've watched 5 Broadway plays like that before. But so anyway, you know, we get through all this. There was you know, a reception, and then afterwards we're on a bus back to the hotel. And here's where I fucked the whole thing up. Like, a Thai wedding keeps going on. Like, they go out for drinks, and I'm like, I'm tired. You know, I had all this diarrhea. And I say to my wife words that just ruined the whole thing. I said, about our wedding day, you know, it hasn't been a good day for me. So it's like all that effort just thrown in the toilet. So thanks, I'm Steve Ballow. Yeah, let me help you with the sign.
Last comic of the night is a trooper, because initially I asked him to go on first. Instead, I made him wait for the entire duration of the show. But no, please give it up for the hysterical Steve Ballow!
What's everybody? Let's hear it for everyone that made it through this fucking marathon of the show. This, you know, I came in here, I didn't see a lot of familiar people, and just like it's fucking packed like before the pandemic, so people I hadn't seen in a while. You know, so a lot of new comics to the stage. You know, tons of diversity, which I'm sure he was thrilled about. You know, there might have been, you know, some sort of different things. I got a treat for you. They're going to take you home, and you're going to watch Encanto tonight to keep everything going. So, you know, in the spirit of diversity, I thought I'd mention that my wife is Buddhist. You know, she's Buddhist. So, you know, a lot of people think, like, oh, she's some, you know, hippie white girl from California, probably does yoga. But no, my wife is Orthodox Buddhist. It's the difference between having a Jewish girlfriend from Westchester or Borough Park. You know, she's super Buddhist. She's from Thailand, so that's like, you know, real Buddhism. She has shrines all over her house, which is, you know, it wasn't new to me because my mom's, you know, from Bensonhurst, Italian Catholic, so she has shrines too. So it was like instant bonding. Like, you know, and well, that's how I tried to sell it to my mom when I told her, this is my wife. She's from Thailand. And I was like, you know, it's just Italian and Thai is kind of like the same thing. It's like, you know, a unique language that not a lot of people speak, but you know, everyone's there. Those people are infatuated in it. Long, straight, black hair, noodles, huge thing. And, you know, the thing that's most important is just an incessant need to have my attention at all times. Like the other day, I was slow to pause a YouTube video I was watching on how to fix her vacuum cleaner so she could show me a picture of a cute little cat. So I got scolded, and I was in the doghouse for 2 weeks over that picture. So, irony right there. But, it's a tougher crowd than I thought. You guys all loosened it up. This is like first-time amateurs going up here and busting the well, and I come up here, it's like, nobody wants to hear your old shit again. We know your wife's tie. Move on. But I made a deal with my wife that a lot of young couples make. Like men make it like when they get married, they think nothing of it. She'll do the cooking, I'll do all the dishes. And my wife's like, that'll also mean when I start a bakery that you'll be the scullery maid. So, now I'm the scullery maid to her bakery. But, us millennials, we have to hustle. We got to get that second job. Like, we got to make it work. Times are tough. So I found this really easy way to cut my grocery bill in half. It's easy. Just shoplift half the stuff. You just walk out with it, But we got to hustle because we got to, as millennials, we have to get together and we got to start, mooching from these young Gen Zers just like the boomers did from us. Like, they had trade unions and pensions, and now it's like $200,000 to either learn how to use a computer in college or, you're going to discuss philosophy with the other people working at Starbucks. As you struggle to pay student debt. But, oh wow. And I'm the headliner too. Thank God, but I just want to say, like, people talked about Elon, like, I think Elon is now in the single name crowd with, like, Zuckerberg or Adolf Hitler, like, these are going to be impactful people. Like, he could end up being the second African-American president, and, like, that's an inspirational story you don't hear about a young African immigrant that came to this country and made good. And he shows the secret to becoming a successful African immigrant. Start out as a rich white person. So thanks everyone.